Hi, I'm glad you could join me today. Today we're going to make peanut butter chocolate cheesecake. It's a two-step process. It's very easy. You'll have no trouble if you're not a competent baker, and if you're a competent baker, this is a piece of cake, or cheesecake in this case. Alright, first thing we're going to do is make the peanut butter bottom. And it's just the cookie recipe that we've used before. You've seen it on our Let's Bake book in the past. So you take 1 cup of peanut butter, half a cup of sugar, and 1 egg, and we're going to put this all together, and that's going to be the bottom. Now for the cheesecake part, we're going to use 1 cup of sugar, 1/4 cup of cocoa, a teaspoon of vanilla, 3 eggs, and 1 package of cream cheese. And that's all it's going to take to make this recipe. Okay, so we're going to add the egg to the peanut butter, and we're going to add the sugar. And then we're going to mix this mixture together. And you'll be able to tell when it starts to set up because it changes the consistency. This becomes a little more firm. Right now it's kind of runny and gummy. And this will make 2 peanut butter cookie crusts. So what I usually do is I make 1 peanut butter cookie crust and then use the rest of them to bake up a few extra cookies, which is what I'll do today. But if you want to make 2 cheesecakes, you just double your cheesecake recipe. And you won't have to double the cookie recipe because it's already been prepared for you now. Alright, so you just stir this around until it thickens up. It's nearly there. And this is going to go in the oven at 325 degrees for about 12 to 14 minutes. And then you're going to take it out, and it has to be completely cooled before you put the next cheesecake part together and pour it in on top. Okay, so I'm going to take half this mixture and I'm going to put it in my pie plate, and I'm just going to put it on the bottom of the plate. You just take that and plop it in there. So about half of it. I'm just going to scrape it off the spoon with my finger, which I have washed my hands before I started, as I've said 100 times in this program. Always wash your hands before you start. Nobody wants your old dirty germs in the food. And you just spread this around in the bottom of the pie plate. And this is just, for all intents and purposes, a giant cookie. Now you can make chocolate chip cookie and put it on the bottom, gluten-free of course. And then you can put a vanilla cheesecake on top, or you can put a chocolate cheesecake. If you don't like peanut butter, you can use the peanut butter or the chocolate chip cookie recipe I've had on one of the other programs. And you can use that instead of the peanut butter, and use the chocolate filling on top. Alright, so I'm going to take this to the oven and I'm going to bake it, and it's going to take 12 to 14 minutes, and then we'll do the rest of the cake. Okay, we're going to put the cheesecake part together, and I'm going to take this over to my mixer, which you won't see me using, but you just use an electric mixer to combine these ingredients. Or you can use a food processor, it's up to you. Or you can beat it with your spoon and your wire whisk until your arm's sore, whatever you prefer. I'm lazy, so I'm going to use a mixer. So first thing I'm going to do is put the sugar in here, and then I'm going to dump the cream cheese in, and I'm going to put the cocoa in. And then I'm going to go over and I'm going to mix this all up, and then I'm going to add my eggs one at a time and my vanilla. And when it's all combined and I have the liquid mixture smooth, I'm going to bring it back over and add it to the crust. Okay, this is what it looks like after I've beaten it and it's all nice and smooth and combined. So it's fairly simple. Now I'm going to pour this mixture over top of a cooled cookie crust. Now that's been cooled. It needs to be cold. You don't want to be doing it when it's hot. Then the whole thing is going to go back in the oven at 300 degrees for 15, I'm sorry, not for 15, for 30 to 35 minutes. When the center of it looks set but not dry or too wiggly, you'll know it's cooked. It doesn't take long. So we're going to put this in the oven, and then we'll bring it out and we'll decorate it up so it looks like a peanut butter chocolate cheesecake. Now this next step is purely for those that like it a little more fancy. You don't have to do this if you don't want to. This is perfectly tasty the way it is. The chocolate is on the top and the peanut butter is on the bottom. And when you cut it, you'll see what a great thing it is. This one, as you can see, is in a clear dish because I made one earlier today and let it become nice and cold so we could decorate it. Otherwise you should let it sit for 5 or 6 hours before you serve it so it'll set up nicely. So what I've done here, this is just a little bit of edible oil. You can use whipped cream, you can use anything you like. Doesn't really matter. I'm just going to put a little scoop all the way around, just for the effort of trying to make it look a little fancy. If you were going to take it somewhere or you were having company and you wanted to show off your culinary skills. And this, with that cookie bottom on it from the peanut butter gluten-free recipe, this whole recipe is a nice gluten-free recipe. So now we have, these are peanut butter cups and I cut them in half. And so I'm just trying to think how they'll look prettier. So you just poke that down into the cream, and every slice that you serve will have a nice piece of peanut butter cup, some cream, some peanut butter cookie, and some nice chocolate cheesecake. And I can't imagine anyone that doesn't like peanut butter or chocolate wouldn't really enjoy this. So there we go. And maybe I'll put one tiny one in the middle, just to make a mess when I'm trying to cut it. There we go. And I think you're going to really enjoy that if you give it a try. It's not too complicated. It does have a few steps to it, but the cake is just delicious. Creamy and smooth, nice and peanut buttery. You couldn't go wrong.